So step 1, 650 grams of plain flour, sorry, and to that I add 500 grams of butter. So the butter has to be at room temperature. Everything should be at room temperature. Eggs, flour and butter. So you work your butter into the flour. Now, most young chefs would probably use a machine, but I love making it by hand. So you work it in, and you basically want to come to a point where it looks like breadcrumbs. So keep on working it in, get air into the pastry. So when you get to this stage where it looks like breadcrumbs, you add a small handful of salt, and I use Maldon salt, which is so much nicer. And if you were making sweet pastry, you could just add 150 grams of icing sugar instead of the salt. Otherwise it's made exactly the same. So I've added the salt, and now I will mix in the eggs. So I use 1 full egg, 1 whole egg, and 2 egg yolks. So make a little hole in the middle and start mixing it together. And it should all come together. Takes a little while. So, as you can see, it's starting to come together. And the thing is not to over knead it. You just want it to stick together, and then you stop. Otherwise you get a very hard pastry, which none of us like. You want it nice and short. So it's coming together well. If you need to add a little flour, you can. Might make it a bit easier. So just mix a little flour around the bowl. And here we have it. And there we are. And then I'm going to cling film it and refrigerate it for about half an hour, 45 minutes. So if you just roll it out a little bit, it's easier when you get to rolling it out for the pastry case. So there we are, there's one lot. Okay, so now it's been resting in the fridge for about half an hour, and I'm going to roll it. So put some flour on the table, quite a bit, so it doesn't stick. Get your rolling pin, put flour on your rolling pin and start rolling. And turn it so you get a nice circle. And you want to not have it too thick. There's nothing worse than too thick pastry. So feel it, and that feels good. So I'm going to use some bake spray in my tap case. Make sure it's sprayed well so it doesn't stick. There we go. Roll your pastry up around and put it over. And then gently fold your pastry in. Don't worry if it breaks, because it'll all come together. It's because it's so short with all that butter. So fold in, just prep it like that, and wherever it comes apart you just stick it together. And make sure it's right into the edges, because otherwise it'll shrink. Okay, like so. Just roll your rolling pin over the tart case. And there we go. Now, because it shrinks, make sure you press the pastry up just a little bit all the way around. There we are. And now put it back in the fridge and leave it to rest until it's quite hard, and that'll help it stay in shape when you bake. So now I've had the tart in the tart case in the fridge for half an hour, and now I'm going to blind bake it. So get a piece of foil and some baking beans, or you can just use dried beans, and then make sure that the foil is right into the corners, and spread your beans out tight like this, and put it in the oven and bake it at about 170, depends on your oven, and 170 degrees for about half an hour. Check it, make sure that it looks like it's going golden brown on the edges. If it is, take it out, and then take the beans out and put it back in the oven for about 10 minutes to make sure the base is nice and crisp. So here we go, put it in the oven. So after 10-15 minutes, take it out of the oven. Just check that it's nice and crispy, and then we're ready for the filling. And we're going to do asparagus and smoked salmon tart, and you can do it with whatever you like to fill it with. Okay, so we're ready to put in the filling. So you need about 300 grams of smoked salmon, and here I have mixed in tarragon, parsley and dill and some lemon zest, and you just mix it in and you put it into your base. Fill the base of your tart with the salmon. Just make sure it's evenly spread. And I've got some asparagus, and the asparagus are blanched for about 2 minutes. You want them nice and crunchy with a bit of bite, because they're going back into the oven and obviously they cook a bit more. Okay, a little bit more. So here we go, just spread it evenly out. Now take your asparagus and just put them around. I don't know. So you want them quite close by, so when you cut portions that everybody gets a couple of asparagus if you're having a get together. Lovely asparagus. Great time for asparagus. Okay, just one more. And then the bases of the asparagus, I've just chopped them up. And I usually just sprinkle them around because they taste delicious and nice and crunchy. So it's one way of using them as well. So there we go. Now you want 4 or 5 eggs, it depends on how big your eggs are, and about 250 milliliters of cream. Mix it up and make the savoury custard. Want a bit of black pepper. Like so. There we go. And you pour your custard over your tart. nearly to the top. Okay, sprinkle some parmesan on top. Gives it also a really nice golden brown topping, and it goes well with it. And there we are, ready for the oven. Right, so here we are, already out the oven after about 25 minutes, all depending on how hot your oven is, obviously. Bit of parmesan on top. And there we are. Lovely. And what better than a nice glass of rosé with it? And thank you very much for watching, and keep safe, and lots of love from Jeremy's and Cafe Vera.